Gladys Knight, the Empress of Soul, was born in 1944 in Atlanta, Georgia, in a family where music was as natural as breathing. From a young age, she displayed a remarkable gift. By 8, she was already performing in church, her voice carrying a depth and maturity far beyond her years. Her family recognized her talent immediately, nurturing it and encouraging her to pursue her dreams. It was in this environment of love and music that Gladys, alongside her siblings and friends, formed what would become the legendary group Gladys Knight and the Pips. These early years were not easy. The group faced countless small performances, local shows and modest radio gigs, often met with rejection. Yet, Gladys had a presence and a voice that could transform joy into something profound and sorrow into something beautiful, setting her apart even at this young age. The rise to fame. The 1960s brought monumental changes for Gladys and the Pips when Motown Records finally noticed their talent. Hits like I Heard It Through the Grapevine and Friendship Train showcased her unique ability to connect with listeners, conveying deep emotion in every note. The journey to this point had been filled with challenges, particularly for a young black woman navigating a male-dominated music industry. The pressure to maintain perfection was immense, and the early years of fame were often exhausting. Gladys later shared that she felt torn between the demands of her career and the need for personal grounding. Yet she persevered, driven by her authentic approach to music. Every song she sang reflected real-life struggles, resonating deeply with audiences, especially women who saw their own experiences mirrored in her lyrics. Signature moments and global recognition. Gladys Knight's defining breakthrough came in 1973 with the release of Midnight Train to Georgia. The song became her signature, earning her a Grammy Award and cementing her place as a global icon. Beyond the accolades, the song validated the struggles she had endured and the perseverance she had shown, reminding her that her voice could carry both personal and universal truths. Through the 1970s and into the 1980s, her music and performances filled concert halls, dominated charts, and won her international admiration. Even as musical trends shifted and new artists emerged, Gladys remained grounded, prioritizing the honesty in her music over fleeting fame. Personal struggles behind the spotlight. Despite professional success, Gladys Knight faced significant personal challenges. Her first marriage to James Newman, a musician, ended in heartbreak, largely due to the pressures of a demanding career and time spent apart from family. Raising 2 children while traveling extensively left her with a constant sense of guilt, but she poured those emotions into her music. Later marriages, including one with record producer Barry Hankerson, brought their own complications, and Gladys learned that personal happiness was often more complicated than professional success. Yet she turned to faith as her guiding light, finding strength in her belief in God. Music became not just a career but a ministry, a way to reach hearts when words alone were insufficient, trials and triumphs. Even at the height of her fame, Gladys encountered challenges that tested her resilience. During the 1980s, she battled a gambling habit, a struggle she later spoke about openly, emphasizing the importance of faith, support, and self-reflection in overcoming it. Her journey through these personal storms demonstrated her ability to transform adversity into growth. She returned to the studio, recorded gospel albums, and continued to inspire audiences worldwide, showing that perseverance and faith can guide one through even the most difficult seasons of life. Loss and reflection. As the decades passed, Gladys Knight experienced losses that profoundly shaped her later life. The passing of her mother, Sarah Elizabeth, and her brother, Merrill Bubba Knight Jr., who had been her lifelong musical partner, brought deep grief. The Pips had been more than backup singers. They were her family, her foundation. She also faced the tragic loss of her son, Jimmy Newman Jr., whose battle with addiction ended with his untimely death. Gladys spoke candidly about the pain of losing a child, emphasizing that such grief reshapes a person in ways fame cannot protect against. These personal tragedies led to quieter years, a period of introspection and spiritual growth where her performances became reflective and heartfelt, often feeling like shared prayers between her and her audience. Faith and purpose. Through all her trials, Gladys Knight found solace in faith and in giving back to her community. Her marriage to William McDowell, beginning in 2001, provided stability and companionship outside the entertainment world. Moving to North Carolina allowed her to focus on church, family, and charitable efforts, mentoring young artists and supporting addiction recovery programs. Her life became about connecting with others on a deeper level, using her experiences of loss and resilience to guide and inspire. She spoke frequently about forgiveness and grace, encouraging people to find peace through compassion for themselves and others, continuing influence and legacy. Even at 81, Gladys Knight's influence on music is profound. Modern artists such as Beyoncé, Alicia Keys, and Mary J. Blige credit her as a major inspiration. Her approach to soul music, centered on honesty, storytelling, and emotional truth, continues to resonate across generations. Rare appearances now are deeply moving, with fans often describing her performances as spiritual experiences. Every note carries history, every song feels like a reflection of a life fully lived. While she no longer chases chart-topping hits, the power of her legacy is not measured by sales, but by the hearts she continues to touch. Embracing life's later chapters. In her later years, Gladys Knight has embraced aging with grace, understanding that the body may slow, but the spirit remains vibrant. Health challenges and fatigue have altered the pace of her life, but she remains active in her faith and her community, finding joy in simple pleasures. Her garden, her church, and her mentorship work have become central to her daily life. The quiet of her North Carolina home is a stark contrast to the stages and arenas she once filled, yet it offers the peace and purpose she has long sought. Music as ministry for Gladys Knight. Music has never been just a career or a form of entertainment. It has always been a calling, a way of life, and, in many ways, a ministry. From the earliest days of her career, her songs were infused with honesty and emotion, reaching far beyond the notes themselves. In her later years, this purpose has deepened, transforming her performances into moments of reflection and connection. When she steps onto a stage today, she no longer simply sings. She shares pieces of her heart and life with her audience. Each song is imbued with the weight of experience, the lessons of triumph and heartbreak, and the hope that listeners can find meaning in their own struggles. Gladys often dedicates her performances to loved ones she has lost, turning each stage into a sacred space where memory, love, and healing intersect. Whether she's recalling the warmth of her mother, the presence of her brother, or the memory of her son, these dedications carry a quiet power, reminding audiences that music is a way of keeping connections alive. Even as her voice has softened with age, the emotional resonance remains undiminished, proving that true artistry is measured not in volume or speed, but in the depth of feeling and authenticity. Through her music, Gladys Knight continues to offer solace, encouragement, and inspiration, demonstrating that the human heart and spirit are at the center of every note she sings. A life of resilience and compassion. Looking back on Gladys Knight's life, one sees a woman whose story has been defined by resilience. She has faced challenges that could have overwhelmed anyone, The pressures of fame, the heartbreak of failed relationships, the loss of loved ones, and personal battles with addiction in her family. Yet through it all, she has carried herself with grace, refusing to let hardship harden her heart. Her experiences have cultivated not only strength, but also a profound empathy for others. In her later years, Gladys has poured this compassion into mentoring young artists, supporting community programs, and lending her voice to charitable causes, especially those that help people overcome addiction or cope with loss. She understands firsthand how life can test us, and she has chosen to turn those tests into lessons, showing that vulnerability and strength can coexist. Her faith has been central in sustaining her through moments of despair, providing a foundation that allows her to move forward with hope and purpose. Through these acts of giving and teaching, she has extended the reach of her influence far beyond music, proving that the measure of a life is not in accolades or fame, but in the love and guidance shared with others. Reflection and legacy. At 81, Gladys Knight represents a living bridge between the golden eras of soul and contemporary music, embodying both the technical mastery of her craft and the emotional wisdom that comes with a long, rich life. To the public, she is a legend whose songs have defined generations, from Midnight Train to Georgia to Neither One of Us, songs that continue to resonate decades later. To those close to her, she is a woman of humility, warmth, and quiet strength, someone whose presence inspires not because of her fame, but because of her authenticity. Her life is a testament to perseverance, showing how faith, self-awareness, and resilience can guide someone through even the most challenging chapters. Gladys has demonstrated that the true beauty of a life well lived is not measured by awards or chart-topping hits, but by the impact she has on others, the comfort she brings, and the example she sets through her continued generosity and grace. In her later years, she shines in a different light, one that is softer, reflective, and deeply human, reminding the world that legacy is built not just on achievement, but on love, integrity, and connection. Enduring inspiration. Gladys Knight's journey offers lessons that extend far beyond music. She has shown that challenges, whether personal, professional, or emotional, can become opportunities for growth, reflection, and empathy. Each loss she endured and every heartbreak she faced has been transformed into a message of hope and perseverance for others. Fans who grew up with her music now see her not only as a voice of the past, but as a living example of courage, faith, and the power of the human spirit. Though she performs less frequently today, every appearance is imbued with purpose and reverence, a reminder that music is about connection as much as it is about melody. Her voice, wisdom, and grace continue to influence generations, inspiring both artists and listeners to live authentically, embrace vulnerability, and find meaning in life's trials. Gladys Knight's life teaches that beauty, strength, and joy often grow from struggle, and that enduring love for family, faith, or art is the most lasting measure of a life fully lived. Her story is not just one of a celebrated musician, but of a woman who has transformed her journey into a legacy of hope, compassion, and inspiration that will continue to resonate long after her final note has been sung